Hey everyone, welcome to FilmIn5D Podcast, episode 6.
Mm,
Do you have anything to say about that? That's not really special. We'll talk about it again when we get to 10.
Oh, isn't that like a bad number? Like,
I mean, are you religious?
no comments.
Yeah. Just quickly, let's go through the rundown real quick. We're going to do our usual Rotten Tomatoes, what's coming out this week. We're going to do the quote of the week. We're going to talk about news and rumors. I've got a lot of stuff coming out from Sony and then some Adam Shogun updates. I'm going to talk about blending modes in Photoshop, which sounds like a novice thing, but I feel like you're going to learn a lot, and I learned a lot in this last couple weeks.
Nice.
You're going to talk about, for your section.
Oh, I heard this noise and I thought you were reacting to the noise and I was like, what was that?
No, that
noise?
was the refrigerator turning off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about the Lily drone and some other stuff too. Like,
Yeah, I feel like we've already talked about it, but I won't say anything.
wait, did we talk about it on here? Like,
Yeah.
we did?
The 3DR solar drone.
What?
Yeah. And then we're gonna actually have a discussion because we've been thinking about talking about this about what the pros and cons of critic reviews from different sites, specifically Rotten Tomatoes, because we talk about that a lot on the show. And we're gonna talk about the 3 movies that we really enjoyed in the past 10 years that did not get a good review. That we're glad we didn't see the review before we saw the movie, kind of thing. So that'll be interesting. All right, starting off. Did you see Mad Max? Let's pull it up on Rotten Tomatoes right away. Just got to go to it. It's got 98% right now, which it always makes me laugh reading those 4 rottens that it gets just to see what the people said. It's very, I see it coming. Very predictable reviews for those 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? I saw it. I saw the movie. So,
Did you see the original one?
Yes. I didn't see all 3, though. I think there was 3.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new one yet, but I am excited to watch it.
It is some kind of good. And I keep telling everybody, all my friends, all my coworkers, I like to tell them, go see this movie, because if this movie makes money, they'll make more good action movies like this. Not Transformers, not Paul Blart Mall Cop 3, So I'm very passionate about, people going to pay money to see a good movie, which honestly, when you look at it, it's a little, I don't know that it's going to be the top 10 for this summer in terms of money made.
Yeah, do you think it's a popular movie?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's rated R.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, it's got a lot of things going against it.
I mean, I thought the original ones were kind of a cult classic, so I thought this was going to be really popular, but I was talking to one of my friends and he was saying that, was that Pitch Perfect 2? He was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that one's going to make way more money. He was like,
It
super
probably
more
will.
popular. I was like, what?
Now, to be fair, Pitch Perfect 1 was actually pretty good. Now, Pitch Perfect 2, as we'll look right now, is got 67%. Whatever's the sequel, whatever. But I love Anna Kendrick. She's in my top 5 for actresses. So, but yes, that will make more money just because it's PG-13 and more kids can go see it.
That's retarded.
It's retarded to us, but that's just how it is. So that's why I tell everybody to go see Mad Max, because they'll make more awesome movies like this. So yeah, having said that, the quote for this week, and we will address this at the end. There's going to be one speed, mine. If you can't keep up, don't step up. You'll just die.
What is that from?
We'll talk about it at the end.
Ah, come
That's
on.
kind of the theme of the episode. So you better step up and keep up.
I'm going to die.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. There's nothing else really to talk about this week. Mad Max was the big one. Everybody go see it. Seriously, go see the movie. It's freaking awesome.
What about Slow West?
I don't know.
It has a 90%. It must be
Yeah,
good.
but it's a freaking. Who's even in it? Oh, Michael Fassbender.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite. Oh, Cody Smith-McPhee. Did that even come out this week? Whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard anything about it really. But I mean, it's definitely something I'll get on DVD or whatever. Okay, moving on. News and rumors. Okay, so not so much new, but we're kind of hearing more about it because people are starting to get these lenses and doing reviews. And one of the more popular film review or camera review photography specifically sites is digitalrev.com with Kai, and they do all their stuff in Shanghai. He's a pretty funny dude. He walks around to street photography. You might have seen him.
Yes.
He reviewed the Loxia. I think he did the 35 millimeter. There's two. There's a 50 millimeter and a 35 millimeter, and these are designed, as we can see in this picture right here, for the A7 Alpha Series FE mounts.
Special.
Now, what is special about these? I mean, they came out back in March. People are they're still sold out everywhere. Why does everybody want these versus the Sony Zeiss, lenses?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of confused about that because, I was reading a recent article and they were excited that one 35 millimeter was on eBay. Mm-hmm. Like one. I was like, are you like, what? Like, what? Yeah. And then, it was an old lens. He was like, what? Why is it so popular?
Mm-hmm.
I did see it had something where you can like declick the aperture or something like that.
Well, we're talking about, it has manual aperture. We talked about that. It's just like that extra ring so that you can aperture and like, so the 28 to 135 that I have, it has a on and off button for the clicking, which is obviously you don't want clicking for video and you want clicking for photography, so you can kind of feel it, photography. This one you have to actually take off the lens and there's a little screw you have to kind of unscrew, whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's cool that it does it, but it's not as convenient. But to go on specifically what makes these lenses special, they are video lenses. We've talked about the other ones are kind of hybrid, mostly photography, autofocus lenses. These are not autofocus lenses. They're full manual, they have the aperture ring. They are not fly-by-wire because they're, they have no electronic focusing. So all your focuses are going to be exact if you're using a follow focus, which is a lot of the concerns of the people in the E-mount market, because basically the only choice you had was all fly-by-wire lenses. The only one that came out that I have that isn't is the 28 to 135, which is a $2,500 lens. Not everybody's going to get that, and it's super big. Dang. So these ones are good in that respect. They're pretty fast. They're f2, which is kind of on the slow end for a prime, to be honest. But, I mean, it's good enough for these, in my opinion, A7 cameras, especially the A7S, because the ISO is insane. They don't have any electronic features, like no steady shot, nothing. So I'm not going to get one of these. I already have a 55. I already have a 35. I have no desire to get any of these lenses because I already have a video lens. But I can see people that are strictly using these cameras for video should get these lenses over the photography ones. I like having autofocus for photography. It's just really nice. So that's that. Obviously, the focus throw is pretty long. It's got all the things that you would want in like a cinema type lens, but not a cine lens. It's got really smooth focus. And they're made out of metal, like not just plastic crap, which is cool. But just the no autofocus is what's gonna keep me from getting one. Moving on, we have the 90 millimeter FE mount. We're getting some of the first reviews in. What do you want to tell the people about this? We talked about this like on the first episode of the podcast. This is one of the ones that was coming out. I was a little concerned about it. It was just a Sony lens, but it was the first macro one, 90 millimeter, to get nice close-up photography shots.
Yeah, I think I remember a little bit about it.
But what do you want to tell the people about? What are they saying?
Well,
are you cheating by looking on my screen?
Dude, I looked. I couldn't find it on Sony off of Rumours, man.
Yeah, okay, so good job. So basically, this review right here just says really good resolution, really small vignetting at f2.8, which I believe is the lower end of the lens. I think it's an f2.8. It has very minimal distortion. Bokeh's obviously nice. It's a 90 millimeter. We talked about 85 millimeter last week, about how that's like a photography kind of bokeh lens, and this is a 90 millimeter, so it's pretty close. It has excellent optical stabilization, which is obviously very important for a macro lens. And the only real drawback is the size. If we look on my screen right now, we can see here's this Sony A7, and this thing's pretty big. And it's pretty freaking long. It's twice the size of the width of the camera. So that was like the one drawback people are seeing. But we'll see. Maybe I've never had a macro lens. For me, I'd rather get, filters. I would rather get that 85 millimeter and then get a filter for it, like a magnifying glass filter, which obviously distorts it a little bit, but it allows you to focus much closer. And they have sets of them. I've had them before for previous lenses, so I'd rather than investing over $1,000 in a single lens just for one purpose when I can get a bunch of filters that will cover that need. So I don't know. We'll see.
Man, I need to look into those filters.
Why? For your camera?
Yeah. I like
it's cool. I've taken, maybe I'll show, I'm not going to remember to do it, but I remember when I had my Canon, I had my 24 to 105, I could only focus within like 4 feet or something, but those things I was able to focus within 6 inches of like all the way zoomed in, and so I was getting like the wick of a freaking candle. It looked pretty good, and because it was that type of shot, like it didn't matter that it like the edges were blurred, more than the center, because that's what essentially it does. I mean, it makes it so that the center's still pretty sharp and in focus, but then it starts getting really vignetted and blurred around the edges, which for some things is okay, but not for like commercial photography. Taking a picture of somebody's,
special iWatch.
You didn't even say anything about it.
I did.
Look, guys, I got an Apple Watch. It came yesterday. It's been very nice and helpful.
Counting them calories.
I think you're a little jealous. I can tell.
Sure.
All right, and then so not much to talk about on this end. But so I have the Sony RX100 Mark III right here. I got it in December, so I have no intentions of replacing it. But they are talking about the new one that's going to be coming out sometime in June, I think. Do you know what they're saying? What are they saying? What's going to be the reason people are going to want to upgrade from this camera, which is right now on the market the best point and shoot camera that fits in your pocket in the entire world?
In the article I was reading, there were a few upgrades, but I mean, from when I was
There's
looking
one big upgrade.
Sensor.
Yes. What about the sensor?
Bigger.
Yes. So this is a 1-inch sensor, which is pretty good for this type of small camera.
Mm-hmm.
The new sensor is going to be a micro four thirds, which we know what that is. That's a GH4 size sensor. So that's pretty substantial in terms of low light performance, image quality, and all that stuff for a camera that fits in your pocket. Now, Panasonic has their own already. I think it even shoots 4K. I forget what it's called. It shoots 4K. It's micro four thirds and everything, but it has a fixed lens that's like this big. So it's not. This while it sticks out a little bit, you can fit this in your pocket, or if you're a chick, you can fit it in your purse or whatever. Like it's very portable. And easily dropped, which can be seen right here. Got a little dropped. Sad times. So that's the big thing. That's the big announcement. I heard about this a month ago, but I wanted to wait until there was more concrete kind of evidence that that's what they were going to do. Done. Next, the Shogun has some... I kind of noticed at NAB, they were showing off the Shogun, and I noticed that they had a nice little bracket for it, which I thought was cool because mine just sits up on top of the camera right now. It's unbalanced and it's exposed. It's like made out of plastic and feels really cheap. Like what's going to happen if this thing topples over, whatever. So this thing, let me zoom into it. This is this $800 one's the full best one you can get. And it supposedly should be coming out any day. This one has handles so you can hold it. It's got rails. So basically the setup is you have the Shogun, you have the camera, and then you have the lens. So lens, camera, Shogun. So basically the Shogun is angled right behind your camera as if you're looking at the back of the camera instead of being it on top or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So it's a nice little run and gun setup. Something that I'm definitely going to get for that way I can use my Shogun other than just on a tripod.
That's cool. I was looking it up and I found this Varavan armor cage for
how much was
camera. I think most of the pieces were running for about $300. But it looked kind of similar to that. I don't think it was as nice, but it definitely looked like a cool option. Like somebody was using it for their Shogun.
The reason I like this one, and unfortunately I'm not using Canon anymore, even though good riddance, this is black and red, which is obviously the Canon colors. The new Sony is kind of a weird black and orange. But this does match my rig that I already have. I have a lot of like pieces to a rig, or a full rig that could be broken down into pieces to use this, and it is red, so it would match. It's something I'm looking at. I probably won't get this, the most expensive one. They have other ones that are, just getting the bracket or whatever. With you basically just have to have the rails. I need the rails because I need a system that can support my lens, my camera, and my Shogun all in one little slide, so that it's not like getting any pressure on one piece. So yeah, that's something I thought I'd point out to you guys. Next, so we had a little argument last podcast about the A7R II that is rumored to be coming out any month, like by June or this summer. What can you tell me about what they're saying now about the A7R?
I didn't read the most recent stuff, but I think like what I was saying before is coming to more fruition. Like there's going to be a second camera that's going to be the 50 megapixel one.
There's a 59 megapixel, 59, which is still higher than the Sony or the Canon 5DS or whatever, which is cool. But there's the A7R II, which is still going to be 36, and then the 59. Here's the weirdest thing. So everybody assumes that, okay, even if the A7R is basically the same, the one thing that at the very minimum they'll add is the IBIS, which is the in-body image stabilization, which is where it takes the whole sensor and kind of like puts it on suspension.
Wow.
So that the A7 has that, right? The A7 II that came out in December has that. That was the upgrade. So everybody assumed, okay, well then now the A7S is going to have that. So I'm going to wait to get the A7S II because that will have, this in-body image stabilization. So then all these primes that we're using that aren't stabilized will be stabilized. But now people are starting to see that, or Sony, I think Sony announced that there will not be any IBIS for the A7R II, which more than likely means that there will not be any for the A7S either, which is kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, they can add it to one, because they're all the same full frame cameras, so why wouldn't they just add this to all of them? So people are basically saying that the A7R II is going to be nothing more than just the better body, because the A7 II has a upgraded body or whatever. So a little sad news potentially, because I am definitely thinking about getting an A7S II if it has that and if it has internal 4K. If it has those two things, I would get it and then use that as a B camera, so that I'd have two 4K cameras and that I could use that for clients. And I already have all the lenses and everything, so it's really only like a $3,000 purchase or whatever for me. And then now I got two cameras fully functional.
Only 3K.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's it for news and rumors for this week. I'm going to do a little tutorial on blending modes. I make an effort at my work to kind of, spend 10, 20 minutes a day learning a new kind of program or skill. And this last week, I took a course on blending modes. Because I've always used blending modes. Like I use blending modes to get rid of the white in like an image, a graphic that a client sends me, or the black or whatever, just a quickly way to blend in something. But I didn't see it, and I didn't know it all. I mean, there's, 20 different blending modes. So let me look over on, for example, here's all the blending modes that we got. A lot. Uh-huh. But I didn't think, and I don't, I kind of play with them and I kind of know what some of them do or most of them do. But this course gave me it, like put it in a different light for me. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to go over what I think blending modes are useful for. So I have some pictures that I took in New York here. These are actually both done on the RX 100 Mark III, this little guy right here. I carried around with me in New York back in December. And so basically, blending modes can be used for anything. They can be used for smart objects. They can be used for regular photos. They can be used for adjustment layers, which is crazy. They can be used for banners or whatever. So if you have Creative Cloud, which if you have Adobe, you probably do, one of the cool things they offer, if I can find it, there we go. Basically, they have, oh, this isn't going to work, is it? This is awesome. So bad.
We don't have internet?
No, we have internet. Let me quit it.
Why is it not going to work?
I don't know.
I think it's because you're on a Mac, dude. Dude, I recently got it, man. Creative Cloud, it's cool.
You did?
Yeah.
You bought it?
Yeah.
For what purpose?
For my personal purpose, Aaron.
You're paying $50 a month, personally.
Yes.
My work pays for mine.
I know. That's why I'm jealous.
All right, here we go. I think. Hopefully. So they have basically a market if you have Creative Cloud. This is kind of like the way that they get you to sign up for this is that, oh, you can also use all these assets that people upload for free, and you can use them no questions asked. So let me look through here and see if there's any. Okay, whatever. We have a smooth wall here. I'm going to go ahead and download this. Save it to my library. If I can open it. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an image that I found on Google or whatever and overlay that over an image. And so that it's only taking the contrasty detail parts of it. So you're adding texture. So like if you were making a lower third and you had a couple squares, rectangles or whatever, and they were a solid color or a gradient color, whatever, they wouldn't really pop very much. But if you added this layer of, a texture on it and then blended it, it would make it feel more 3D or whatever. Make sense?
Yeah, so you're taking like the texture information from the picture and then overlaying it on the original?
Mm-hmm. No, overlaying it on, my own personal picture or whatever. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to work. I should have already put these in here. Here we go. Creative Cloud. Market downloads. So right in here, I have all these ones in here. I'm going to grab the wall one, drag it over here, and make it big. So this is a bad example because it's just a picture. I wouldn't normally do this. But watch if I take this and I just hit multiply. See what it did? Let me turn it on and off. Huh? Add a little grit to it or whatever, This is a bad example, honestly. But so that's what you can do if you just found an image, and you wouldn't even get in trouble with this because nobody's going to know you took an image of an ocean or water texture and then put it over your image like with a blending layer. Like there's no way nobody's going to find out. I'm not saying that you should do this, but yes, you should do this because it's awesome.
So when you're saying blending mode, you're just referring to those things you change the layer at?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So here's an image. I originally took this in black and white. This is the raw image. Let's say I wanted to add a black and white filter on it. Whatever. So obviously this is an adjustment layer, so you can go through and adjust different parts of you can adjust the reds, or you can adjust, I guess that's also red. It's all red. Yeah, nice. Whatever. This is a perfect example for me. But okay, so you're adjusting the entire adjustment layer. These are non-destructive things that you're doing. What if you wanted to add an adjustment layer on top of this? Let's say I wanted to add a gradient map. And I go in here and I select a crazy, ridiculous gradient map that's super intense and colorful. Let's do this one. Okay, so that looks ugly. You wouldn't sell that to a client. You wouldn't paint this. You wouldn't, or print this and put it on your wall, right? Now, what if I went in here and used a blending mode? I'll do a soft light. And then maybe, now it's starting to look a little old-timey, but still a little too yellow for my taste or whatever. And maybe I scale back the opacity a little bit. I took off the black and white so that I can kind of better show. So how about this? Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it went from this to, I mean, then you add a blending mode. There's different ones. Like, let me try multiply. Let me try, where's color burn? And then you just, so you basically, the main point of this tutorial is that you're taking an adjustment layer, you're adding a blending mode to it where it's otherwise unusable because it's attacking certain colors. It's really enhancing the yellows or adding yellows to where they shouldn't be. And you blend it so that it matches the picture better, and then you scale back the opacity. And this just gets crazy good results. And I don't know, I thought it was very intriguing. It was something that I'd never thought of before for blending modes, to use them in this way.
Yeah, I actually recently used it for some graphics. I forgot which one I used, but basically it made it a little bit see-through. Mm-hmm. So it made it look fancy.
Do you know what a smart object is?
I think that's when you link it to like a file or something like that, right?
Well, a smart object is, like, let's say you bring in an object. It usually comes in as a smart object. And then if you want to edit it, you're going to have to rasterize it and then make your choices and turn it back into a smart object. Basically, if you take a rasterized object and you make it smaller, and then you start and you're working, 3 hours later, you're like, oh, actually, I want that to be bigger now. When you make it bigger, you're going to lose. It's not remembering what it was originally. So even though you're only making it a little bit bigger, you're not adding any more pixels. A smart object remembers what the original size was. So no matter what you do, it'll stay. So that's the basic, what I knew what a smart object was. A smart object, all it really is like a Photoshop file that holds all the data and remembers it all and stores it all. So let's say, I'll turn it on black and white. Whatever. It's not a final image. I'm doing it on the fly. Let's say that I wanted to, since I have all these, I have 2 adjustment layers in the picture, it's getting a little crazy for me. I'm doing, I got a lot more stuff I need to do this. I don't want to do on top, because the order of stuff matters as well. So I don't want things to get mixed up. I like how it looks right now. So all you do is select it all, and you can actually convert this into a smart object. And that becomes a single object. And then if you want to open it up and edit it, it's non-destructive, it's fully editable. I double click it and you can see the original adjustment layers.
What?
So that's another cool thing, that a smart object's also very good for organization and keeping things in, indestructive and, stuff like that.
I just dump them in folders.
Folders work too, and if you use clipping masks and stuff, but the order of stuff does matter. If you're using adjustment layers, you start using 10 adjustment layers for a single project, it can get a little crazy. So smart objects, having those adjustment layers within a smart object is very helpful. So those are the 2 things I kind of learned from that lynda.com tutorial. Lynda.com. They're not a supporter of the show, but whatever. All right, so that's the end of the tutorial. Do you learn anything?
Well, I learned about the blending layers, but not really exactly what each of them do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, when I took the course, I was like, oh, this guy's going to teach me exactly what each one of these does. Each, one of these 20 blending layers. And I've messed around with them, and I know I just don't, it's kind of like After Effects. There's things that are hidden in there that you just don't even know you can do until you try it. It's kind of like physics. You have an equation that works 20 different ways, and, it's not just plug and play. So just using the blending modes to kind of create cool new looks with things that would otherwise look unattractive. You just add a blending mode to it and see, and then go through the different ones and kind of and there's shortcuts. I think it's Command. Yep. Oh, no. Oh, fail. Actually, I think you have to have the move tool selected. Let me see. Let me go Command, whatever. Apparently, I don't know. I was going to try to cycle through them just so you can see the different looks of them. But, done. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about automatic camera stuff.
So the Sony 3DR, we talked about that one week.
Did we? You keep saying that.
What is it called?
That.
What is this thing called?
The one I'm talking about right now is a Lily drone. It's it just got kickstarted, I think. And you can buy right now for $600 or something. And then once it retails, it's going to be expensive as balls.
I see the Lily camera. The camera that follows you.
Yeah.
I've heard about this.
Oh, I can hear the music.
Is this the one?
Yeah. So look at this. Oh, what?
I've seen this. I've seen this. I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's not really supposed to be about the Lily drone specifically. Like, there's been a lot of stuff like this out, before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think this one's really all that special compared to all the
So
other
what
ones.
does he have on his person? Is it just his phone?
It's a watch. It
Oh.
looks like it's basically like a little watch thing, and then like there's a face you can interface with it and like do whatever. As you can see,
like I can't see this catching on. Like it's just like, is everybody gonna just have drones following them around? Like they're gonna be illegal, dude. Like there's no way. Like I have a Phantom 1 and I am so scared to buy a Phantom 3 or Phantom 3DR. One, because I don't use it that much, because I'm just so scared that one, I'm gonna crash it, and two, I'm gonna get arrested or get it taken away by cops, or people are gonna say that I'm being a pervert or whatever. It's like, it's just such an uncomfortable environment right now that it's just like, I can't imagine they're gonna have a bunch of these following people around,
Yeah, that's true. But like, I think the thing that interests me the most about this is kind of automation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's also another cool product that came out a while ago called the Solo Shot.
The Solo 3DR, we talked about that on the show.
What? This thing?
Oh no.
The Solo Shot I'm talking about is a thing that goes on top of a tripod, basically. So, like, basically you just put whatever camera or whatever you want on top of it, and then it'll track you. I'm assuming based on what thing you wear.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I think just that technology alone is really interesting. Like, say, like, what if you wanted to control, like, a light or something? I think that would be cool. You don't necessarily have to have a camera on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this has like a real film application as much as it's like a training application for learning how to improve your form on your jump shot or whatever, camera that will follow you around.
What? Dude, you could totally, like, set this up.
No,
like,
but they don't use, in cinema in Hollywood, it's all about manual. No
anything. No, that's another point. See, I feel like, of course, it's all about manual. Like, what good can a robot do versus what a human can? Come on. But honestly, like, I think if the technology's improved, it can be better than a human being. Like, who cares about your little artistic focusing thing? Like, you can program it and it'll be perfect.
I mean, they have programmable sliders and movements. That's how you see, like, these commercials. I don't know if you've seen the new Subway commercial where, like, the sandwich and the chips keep changing with the drink there, and they're, advertising some, like, lunch meal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The way they're able to do that is they do the same shot over and over, and the camera moves, so it makes it feel more real because basically they're just changing out stuff, and the camera's doing the exact same thing every time. So, I mean, they have stuff like that, and I think it has a place, but this feels a little bit random.
How is it random?
Well, one thing's programmable is one thing. They already have that. And then this is more following you based on where you are, and that's random.
It's not like
that is random. It'll be different.
What if you
do it 10 times? You do it 10 times. It'll be different every time.
Okay, but can't you just like scrub through the footage and like use something from it at least? Like, it's the same thing.
Charlize Theron only hits her scene one time. You better make sure you get that shot right, son.
I'm just saying, okay, maybe not for like a big budget thing, but couldn't you imagine like maybe like a more guerrilla setup where you don't have as many people? It could be a handy tool.
Yeah, I mean for guerrilla style stuff, not for Hollywood.
I don't know. I think people just don't want to embrace it because robots are bad.
How are we talking about this thing? We're talking about the freaking drone that follows you around. I mean, come on.
What?
Like, how's it, dude? There's no way. Like, this is a cool idea. I like the innovation. I love it. It's gonna hit stuff. It doesn't know. It knows where you are and how high it needs to be. It doesn't know if there's another drone flying in front of it or if there's a tree branch in the way. Like, it just doesn't know. It's very
has sensors.
Huh?
I would hope it would.
No, dude. No way. Is it gonna know if there's a random object in front of it?
No way.
All it knows is elevation. That's all it's gonna know, and like where it is in relation to you. I'm telling you. Was there one other thing you wanted to talk about?
No. Oh, I was also thinking about like putting other stuff on drones other than cameras. Like, I don't know.
Guns. You sick. You sick.
Yeah, like lights or something.
Huh?
like, couldn't you imagine, like, okay, like, basically, like, you have, like, a programmed, like, lighting setup with, like, an army of drones, right? And then you just go to a location, like, put it on the person, fly them all up, and then they all go there and set everything up.
I'm pretty sure Amazon invested a bunch of money into drones to see if they can ship, because they're always trying to like ship same day. That's their goal, and like I think that'd be cool. But there's no way this is all gonna explode, dude. It's all gonna explode. There are no rules right now. Everybody's just doing this. There's no rules. All these companies are coming out with new stuff, and it's like there are no rules. Like there's a thing called an FAA. What is it? FAA? What's the flight?
Sure. Yeah, FAA.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's FAA. So they're going to come down hard on all these things, I feel like. Like, must not fly higher than 10 feet or something. Like, it's going to be crazy. Right now, it's 400 feet. It's going to, trust me. Like, I've owned one since the beginning. Like, I know, I could see where this is going. It's not good.
You know, it would be pretty funny if somebody made one that was marketed for like spying on people through their windows, just to like prove a point.
Dude, like they had like a guy fly over the White House. This is getting off topic, but they had a guy fly over the White House with one. Like, can you imagine how hard would it be to strap a bomb to one of these things and fly it to the World Trade Center? Like during like in the middle of the day. How hard would that be? It wouldn't be hard at all.
Okay, but
you take 3 of them and do it with like bombs like timed and like no one's gonna stop that.
Yeah,
like,
but
scary, man.
Dude, but then you're just like, you can't let them win, Aaron. You can't let them win.
You can't make it easy for them to win either.
Okay, but I mean, like, how hard would it be to just like, I'm not condoning this or anything, but like stuff it in a backpack and like throw it into a crowd, a bomb.
Yeah, but it'd be much worse to blow up a building that will collapse, like has happened before.
But you can still kill human lives, which is the most important thing on Earth. I'm just saying, there's plenty of things that are easy to do.
And we're not going to talk about politics right now. I'm thinking about all the stuff that happened in Baltimore, and I'm just not even going to go there. All right, 5th segment. We are here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We're going to have a discussion about critics. By critics.
Are we going to critique them?
For critics. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What? Did you forget?
No, I swear I wrote it out and printed it, and for some reason it did not print. I don't know. This is weird.
Hopefully you remember the 3 you picked.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay. So basically, we're going to start off. I don't know where this conversation is going to go. We have basically 20 minutes to do it. We're basically talking about. So I'm very reliant on Rotten Tomatoes. If I'm gonna go, if I'm really excited for a movie, and it gets a good review, then I'm gonna go pay my money to go see it. Vice versa, if I'm excited about a movie or I think it's gonna be good and it gets a really bad review, then I'm probably gonna wait till Blu-ray. You know. Which is a little bit of a conflicting thing because these are all reviews by people that liked it or hated it. And for the most part, there's people who try to stand out and, you know, oh, it is so overrated or whatever, whatever. But, for instance, and this is off topic, kind of, Alien Isolation. You've seen this game.
Yes, I have.
You've played this game.
Yes, I have.
This game I was so excited for, and it got a 6 out of 10 on IGN. Really bad, and I almost didn't buy it. I was excited for it for a year, and I almost didn't buy it because one guy at IGN said that it wasn't good, and I played it for 30 minutes, and I was like, this is weird. So I kind of went back to the review, and I kind of saw people saying, what's this guy talking about? And the guy said, play to the end, you'll see. So I played 20 hours of it, and so did other, couple million people, whatever. Everybody trashed this guy at the end of it. Because he obviously played it as fast as he possibly could and got frustrated because he couldn't finish it in time because he had to get his review out within a day. And so he gave it a bad review because it was too hard, essentially, is what it came down to. It's one of the best games I've ever played. Whatever, off topic. But the fact that you can't really go off of one person's opinion. You have to go and see what you want to see. Even if it's Paul Mall Cop 3, which, dear God, don't make that movie. Please. So Do you have anything you want to say about this before we reveal our 3 movies that we really enjoyed, even though they got bad reviews?
Yeah, I wouldn't really trust video game reviews because they suck.
Yeah. All right, hopefully my computer doesn't die while we do this. Okay, I'll start off. My first movie, and it happens to be the quote that we used. There's going to be one speed mine. If you can't keep up, don't step up. You'll just die. What movie is that from?
That's some Fast and Furious movie.
Very close. Same actor.
Oh, of course.
So I
remember that.
I have an interesting story about this movie with you. Okay, so this movie got 29%. I'm not saying it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but when I saw it, I thought it was really good. And then, a couple years later, I saw it, in theaters in 2004. And when I got when Rotten Tomatoes started getting popular, I was in college, 2008, 2007. I saw the review for it, and I was like, 29%, that seems, huh? And I asked other people, and other people didn't really like it either, but I really liked it. And I remember I told you about this movie, and you were like, what'd you say?
I don't know. What movie is it?
The Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah, you never said the name of the movie.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Whatever. It's on screen.
But people are listening. It's a podcast.
Yeah, I understand. What you told me was, did you see Pitch Black? Isn't that the Pitch Black sequel? I was like, no, I haven't seen it. And I looked it up. I was like, sure enough, this was the sequel to Pitch Black, which made a little sense for why I was confused in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, so here's my first key point about reviews. This review, more or less, is based on the fact that this is a sequel. So to me alone, when I saw this movie, I liked it. I thought it was really good. But all the people that watched it for these reviews, the 150 people who reviewed this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, more than likely saw Pitch Black and were disappointed by the fact that this wasn't, as good. It's kind of like the people who never saw the original Star Wars but went and saw the Phantom Menace. They probably thought that was awesome. But then the people who had seen the originals were disappointed for sure. So that's my first point. It's like you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt, because had I seen Pitch Black first, maybe I wouldn't have liked this one as much. But to me, it still holds up because I like both of them, because I saw, the first one after the second one. So that's my first one. You got any comments on that?
Is this the one?
This movie has Judi Dench, has Carl Urban, has Vin Diesel. Like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I like Pitch Black better. I'm not sure.
Well, the main issue, there's been 3 of them, and this is the one that was PG-13. They released it to try to appeal to a wider audience, and they had to tone it down a lot, which is not, if you've seen any of these movies, is not the Riddick character, to tone it down and not have, the kind of blood and stuff. So that was one thing but I didn't know that, as I didn't know what I was missing from Pitch Black. So honestly, had I seen Pitch Black first, I'd probably not like this movie as much. I've seen this movie like 20 times. I think this movie's awesome, and I still think it's awesome, even though I've seen all the other ones. So, all right, what do you got?
Shutter Island.
That did not get a bad review.
Dude, it's got like
Martin
a 60-something.
Scorsese.
It's got like a 60-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think. That counts, right?
That movie's awesome. The ending, the twist ending, and the freaking...
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio, and 68%. Dude, that's not fair. Come on.
Oh, dude, that is totally within the realm. Like, look at the average rating. It's like a 6-something out of 10. But, I mean, I will say, at the time, like, I don't know, it seemed really... For me, it seemed so similar to Inception, because there were, like, certain motifs that were kind of...
This was after Inception.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, the 2 movies seem very similar to me because Leonardo DiCaprio, and like there were kind of like certain motifs that were repeated in both movies, even though they weren't related. So, but I don't know. I really liked the plot.
Mark Ruffalo is like the best acting in it, dude. Ben Kingsley, like, dude, honestly, Michelle Williams is pretty good too. But Max von Sydow, like, it has like the A-list of actors who even critics think that are the best. A lot of people hate Leonardo, but I don't, Mark Ruffalo just won or was just nominated for an award. Obviously, he's the Hulk. But, I mean, I'm surprised you picked this one, because this one, I love this movie.
Yeah,
I've seen this movie like 5 times.
Yeah, that's why I was like, when I looked it up, and I was like, wait, what? Like a 68%?
It's not even certified fresh.
Yeah, that was sad to me. Sad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, let me read a review real quick. Scorsese keeps attention. I just... Oh, it was a really, really good movie, and in the end, it didn't end how I wanted it to end. You know, I'm trying to get a theme here with all these reviews. It's like, why does a movie get a bad review from someone? Like, I mean, it's very subjective, but people really will say a movie's good, and then just because they didn't predict the ending or they didn't think it should have ended that way. Now, there's cop-out endings, which I don't like. This movie was not a cop-out ending. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. You know, that's weird. Yeah. Okay. How much time we got? I want to get a theme of why we think it's the positives and the pros and cons of critics.
I don't know. I think sometimes they're just too snooty.
Hipster?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, they might feel like they'll lose their credibility if they like this movie, you know, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's just kind of...
So, usually when I see a movie's on Instant Play on Netflix, I always look it up on Rotten Tomatoes. This one had 20%. Normally, I would not see a movie with 20%, even if it was free on Netflix. But this movie also happens to have my favorite actress, and one of the better actors who was just won an Academy Award 5 years ago, Emily Blunt and Colin Firth. So, what was wrong with this movie? That, first of all, very independent kind of film. It's only got 50 total reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so, 10 people liked it, 39 people didn't like it, whatever. You look down at some of the reviews, and basically a lot of the people admit that the acting is really good. Obviously, is the main part. And for me, when I'm talking about what's a good movie, I really like movies with great plot, believable special effects, good music, and terrific acting. The one of those four that cannot be wrong or off in any way is the acting. If the acting is unbelievable or ridiculous, or it's an actor I just don't like, I can't see the movie because I'm going to be thinking about it the whole time. The plot, you can go twists and turns or whatever. Special effects, you can have good special effects, bad special effects. The acting has to be superb for me. So this movie on acting alone is an 80%, in my opinion. On acting alone.
And what movie is it?
This is Arthur Newman. This was, I think, 2012. Basically a movie about two people who find each other, and they're both basically trying to change their identities and fake their deaths and, whatever. And it kind of sparks an interesting relationship, and they're kind of traveling across the country.
Oh, kind of like that spy movie with, what's his name? The Office guy, right?
Oh, Steve Carell? I never saw that movie.
Well, they're two spies that are in a relationship thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. No, so this isn't... And I think I guess why 80% of people didn't like this movie was that they just didn't like the ending. They didn't like where it ended up. And I really like the ending. I really like this movie, and I'm not sure why I get 20%. For someone I am hipster-ish, and I hate most things, but I love this movie. Maybe I'm biased because it's Emily Blunt, but honestly, But it's just interesting. It's acting should be a bigger port. 20% for these two really great actors with great performances is just not fair. I'm sorry. Go on. Go. What's your next one?
Let me see.
We are critiquing the critics, people. If you didn't know, we're discussing Rotten Tomatoes. Other sites like IMDb, The Onion, which is more of a satire. What's up?
Jack Reacher.
That got good reviews. Dude, you're not playing
it's
fair.
A 62%.
20% for mine, dude.
I know. I don't know how you found such low movies. You like whack stuff. I don't know.
Jack Reacher was freaking... Okay, so
Dude, but why did it get 62%? That doesn't make sense.
How many people went into this movie saying that they hated Tom Cruise? Don't forget,
I did.
Huh?
I hate Tom Cruise.
You actively hate Tom Cruise.
Not actively, I dislike him.
But this is around the time where it was like, this is one of his first, this is 2012. There was a period where he wasn't making anything because nobody was giving him any movies. And now he's starting to come back. Like, obviously, Edge of Tomorrow was awesome. And he's got Mission Impossible 5 coming out. Like, he's starting to come back. He's having don't call it a comeback, but he's having a comeback. And this was probably one of the first movies, I would say, that he was in. Box office, 80 mil. I don't know what the budget of it was. It doesn't seem like it made too much. But this movie was awesome.
Yeah, so why did it get a 62%? Bullshit. Or
I call BS.
Yes. I mean, I will say I didn't really like the main character. Like, at some points, I felt like he just kicked a little too much butt. It was like some kid, I don't know, just wrote the story. He's like,
the plot though with the sniper.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I remember you told me to watch this movie, and I was like, oh. And then I started watching. I was like, I've seen this movie. This movie was awesome. So I watched it again, anyways. But I've seen it twice. So what do you think? What do you have to say to those critics out there who gave this a 60%, 62%?
I don't know. Like, I don't know why they would rate it so low. Like, it was an intriguing story. Like, it had some nice plot. Tom Cruise isn't like a super bad actor, is he?
No, he's an A-list action star. He's one of the best. He's the best, like, in a dramatic role. He's done a few, like, Vanilla Sky. It's arguable. They literally argued about this on Movie Fights like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so I think he's good. All right, I am running out of battery, but we have 2 more to go. Okay, you've seen this movie. Oh. You recommended me this movie. The first time I saw it, I did not like it. I was not happy that you made me sit through this movie. This is The Fountain.
Oh my gosh.
And I know you have jokes about this, but let's keep it serious.
Okay.
Why does this movie deserve to be better than 51%, in your opinion? What sets this movie apart from other movies of its type?
Well, I think it had some really interesting filming techniques. Like, I don't think it used any CGI.
It didn't use any CGI. It was all alchemy or something, whatever they call it.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like watching the movie with that in mind, it's like, what?
Yeah, because you told me about that before I'd seen it. So tell me, how many of these people didn't know that when they made this review? They were like, oh, the special effects were okay. It's okay. It was like, I've seen better. Transformers was better than that. I mean, it's 2005, actually, so I don't even know if there was a Transformer. Oh, no, 2000? Yeah, it's 6. But Rachel Weisz, Hugh Jackman, like, great acting, obviously. Sad story, 3 timelines, really cool storytelling. I like that kind of stuff. And then the special effects is just what brought it to the next level. What made it a must-see movie, in my opinion. Like, everybody should see The Fountain because they were able to pull off such special effects without CGI. 51%. How many people are going to see that review and not watch this movie on Netflix? Just saying.
A lot.
Is that fair? Like, you tell me. Anyways, go ahead. Your last one.
And
then the rant is over.
Is the Man of Steel. Superman.
We get all the way through, and then you pull out some BS movie that I hate.
I will say, I think the color correction or whatever they did in it is like freaking horrible. Like, full retard. I don't know why they did it like that. But one thing that really stood out to me in this movie was like
this
the
is Zack
score.
Snyder movie, right?
I don't know.
Director of 300? Yeah,
Oh.
of course. But of course.
But yeah, I really liked the score of the movie. I thought it was great.
Yes, but that's the one thing. Why does it deserve more than 56% though? I agree with you.
It wasn't,
that's the one.
Dude, it wasn't that bad of a movie, man.
Dude,
like
Amy Adams, I freaking love Amy Adams, and she was horrible in this movie.
What?
Dude, Zack Snyder, he did one good movie. He made 300, which everybody was like the surprise movie. I remember when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, oh, this looks like a stupid video game, like shot on a freaking, in a studio set. which it was, but it ended up having a nice story with good acting and all this stuff. It sprungboard the career of Gerard Butler and all that stuff, and Zack Snyder, and yet every movie he's made since then, Watchmen, Sucker Punch, Man of Steel, has been each movie worse than the other. So it's just like, and then Man of Steel, isn't he supposed to be like the ultimate Hulk Hogan of superheroes? Isn't he supposed to be like the whatever, the happy-go-lucky kind of Captain America, if you will? I know you didn't see Avengers 2, but you've seen the Captain Americas at least. And this is just a dreary, pathetic attempt at a superhero movie. They try to make it realistic and feel gritty like The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. Dude,
I thought it was cool.
Come on. I agree with this. I agree with the 56%. I think that's a little high.
Well, I think for me personally, what really makes me, or what allows me to enjoy movies is when it really builds a world for me, like it's an experience for me. And I think part of the reason why, you don't think it's as good, and a lot of people don't, like these critics and stuff don't think it's good, is because they know so much about movies and actors and stuff like that. Like, for me personally, like, yeah, I can recognize, like, super bad acting, right? But, like, if acting, like, when you see some people acting, it's like, oh, it's horrible, like, I can't stand it. Like, for me, it's like, I guess, I don't know, but, like, it doesn't bother me as much. Like, it doesn't take me away from the movie. So I think, like, when people focus on these things, like, oh my gosh, like, this acting, this stupid stuff, it kind of takes you away from the experience, and you focus on that instead of the actual, like, content.
I feel like movies like Iron Man and The Dark Knight, 94%, set the bar so high that you can say that, yeah, you don't notice, but in your heart of hearts that The Dark Knight is 94% better than Man of Steel.
Because that movie is really good, like, super good.
But so even you, as someone who doesn't really necessarily pay attention to those things or doesn't ruin it for you, you can see a huge difference.
But there was still, like, certain elements of the movie that I really enjoyed. Like, for instance, like I said, the music. Like, I thought it was really interesting and intriguing. Like, it was new, but, like, when I hear the music now, I think of Superman. Like, it's cool. Like, it's not, they're just not reusing something. Like, they just, like, they made this cool score and stuff that was really inspiring and really pushing and driving and stuff. And also, I liked when they were fighting. Like, it was, like, when they were punching each other.
Like, when he just, like, lit all the innocent civilians just die around him because he didn't care.
Dude, see, that's the kind of stuff you can't pay attention to, man. Who cares?
Dude, you have to, man.
Like, oh my gosh, like,
Superman
where does he...
has been ingrained in our society. He's one of the oldest superheroes. I mean, come on. You
Dude.
Can't just ignore this stuff. And I'm not even a Marvel or DC geek. I never read a comic book in my life. And I know there's certain things you just can't do. So, oh well. That was a good discussion, though. I think for the most part, 5 out of 6, we agree that they were improperly, even though you really cheated, you hovered around that 50-60% line. I threw in some bad ones in there.
Well, dude, it's hard. It's hard.
I mean, I definitely had more. There's more that, it's let's send it off with a game that everybody should play. Go back and watch a movie that you haven't seen in 20 years and see if it holds up. It's a fun game to play, especially if you've been to film school. Because, like, I see these movies in a completely different light than I did, when I was a kid. And I've gone back and I've watched a few movies. And some of them hold up and some of them don't. It's an interesting, fun game to play. Something to think about.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into what I was saying. Like, your current knowledge and, well, obviously, I guess, your current knowledge and perception, whatever, affects how much you enjoy a movie.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for this week, this episode. Hopefully somebody out there is listening on a faraway planet, I guess. We're going to watch a movie right now. What do you want to watch? We got Cabin in the Woods or The Adjustment Bureau.
What's The Adjustment Bureau?
Matt Damon, Emily Blunt. I'm not going to tell you anything else. Well, you think about that. Because, yes, you need to watch one of those. And we have a moth showed up. I was wondering when one would show up.
Oh, yay!
Yay. The podcast can't be complete without it. All right, so my Apple Watch says that it is time to stand up because we've been sitting for an hour. So, check out the blog at FilmIn5D.wordpress.com. Download on iTunes. Search for FilmIn5D. We need to change the name of this podcast. Whatever. It's cool for now. Clippers play Sunday. It's Friday right now. I'm going to be very sad on Monday when I post this. I'm guessing. Because, yeah.
What, you really think they're going to lose? I thought you said they're going to go all the way.
I don't think they're going all the way anymore. But
Why?
I think they can win Saturday. We had a chance 2 games in a row to finish the series and we didn't. So, whatever. Not going to talk about it on this podcast. Guys, go to lynda.com, learn a new skill. I'm learning speed grade right now. It's something I've been meaning to learn for a while. Premiere's about to add all these cool new tools in terms of color correcting, so that's going to help me out and springboard me into that. You got Creative Cloud. Take some courses on Lynda. Or watch some old FilmIn5D episodes. We got some nice content on there.
That's a thought.
Yes. Might be a little outdated. I don't know. So FilmIn5D.wordpress.com. I have a new video that I posted last week about my quick menu settings for the A7S, which is, I think, helpful for some of you.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.